Grace and peace. Grace and peace. Oh, give thanks unto the Lord, for he is good. Yes, he is good. In this short, brief video, I just want to touch on the power of thanksgiving and the power of praise in the believer's life. Psalm 136 is, first off, the book of Psalms is the hymn book, the song book of the nation of Israel. So these are like hymns. These are like hymns. They wouldn't be, they're is we don't really call them chapters because they're songs. They're literally were sung and meant to be sung. Psalm 136 is a powerful psalm. It is a psalm celebrating God's love and the eternality of God's love. Hey, grace and peace, brother. Grace and peace. Man, I just had to get this word out real quick, man. Just dropping the late tip. Yep. Getting this word out real quick. But in Psalm 136, we're celebrating the Hesed of God, the Hesed. Some people, if you want to call it the Hesed, and the Hesed is it's so much. It's the Hebrew of it is so rich that we have to put together and make up English words to even try to fully give the picture of this Hesed. So we call it covenant loyalty, covenant love. Some translations will say your loving kindness. The CSB, which what I'm using, calls it his faithful love. And so all these different trends, and that's the kind of love that God has for us. Even when we sin, his love outlasts our sin. You may be struggling with the sin. You may have struggled with the sin for 5, 10 years. His love endured all the ups and downs of that sin, and it is still enduring. And so the psalmist, it's almost like a call and response. He will say something, and then they will come back, give thanks give thanks to the Lord. His faithful love endures forever. His Hesed endures forever. The Hesed is his faithful love, God's saving love. God's love has endured from our beginning. It has endured from our beginning. His love, as the psalmist goes through the history here, we're not going to read all these verses. We're just going to focus on 23 through 26. But his love endures in captivity and in deliverance. Down in verse 16, God's love endures even when we wander, like the children of Israel wandered. God's love, he loves us even when we are attacked. And so he goes on and on and on. His faithful love endures forever. Verse 23. And then in red, I don't know if you're seeing this in these verses. If I can remove this banner off the screen, I've tried to highlight in red the verbs, and that's one thing that we'll talk about more in our other series when we do Bible study methods and things like that. We're looking. Pay attention to the verbs. Pay attention to the verbs in this. Verbs are action words. Action words. That there's in a preaching tip, when you're preaching, a lot of your main points, your points of your sermon can come from the verbs. So notice in the red I have, he remembered us in our humiliation. His faithful love endures forever. And rescued us from our foes. His faithful love endures forever. We are remembered and we are rescued by God. And it's all because of his loving kindness, his mercy. God's mercy is us not getting what we deserve. His mercy, his mercy is us not getting what we deserve, and we know we deserve it. That's powerful to think that we know what we deserve, but he doesn't give it to us. But every breath that we take in and breathe out is mercy. Every breath we breathe in and breathe out is mercy. When we say God is merciful, we mean that yes, we deserve punishment. We've been caught red handed. He does not punish us. That is his mercy. And yes, throughout the mercy is God withholding his just condemnation. So throughout the Bible, we are given nuggets and pictures of and illustrations of God's mercy. But God fully demonstrated his mercy in Jesus Christ. God was merciful to Solomon when he went astray. God was merciful to Israel in their captivities. David illustrated God's mercy. God's mercy was illustrated every year on Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement. His mercy endures forever. So we praise him because we are remembered and we are rescued by him. Verse 25. Verse 25. It says, he, God, gives food to every creature. His faithful love endures forever. We are provided for by the Lord, and that too is because of his mercy. Think about every time God has provided something for you. Just take a second. I know we're at like 18 seconds behind, but type of one if God has ever provided something for you. You know, you can type a one, you can just type me, you can type show enough. If God has ever provided for you, drop that in the chat. And then it says, give thanks to the God of heaven, for his mercy endures forever. So, number one, we are remembered and rescued by the Lord because of his mercy. Number two, we are provided for by the Lord because of his mercy. And then number three, praise is to be given to the Lord above everything else. His mercy should be especially remembered. Give thanks to the Lord. His faithful love endures forever. Now, the Hebrew word for praise is yada. One of the Hebrew words for praise is yada. Yada, yod dalet hey. And then there's a root word yada, yada, uh, without the hey at the end, um, means to know, to be intimate with. Adam knew Eve, yada. But here, this Hebrew word is to laud, to praise, to give thanks. And so we have Yod, Dalet, Hey. Yod, Dalet, Hey. And Hebrew words are very picturesque. Hebrew is a very picturesque language. And so Yod means hand or closed hand. Dalet means a door, a pathway. And Hey is a picture of a lattice or a window. It is to reveal, to behold. And so what this is called, what this is known as, um, this is the Hakarat Hatov, which means simply to recognize the good. So this is a Hebrew phrase you can take with you all through when life is beating you down or when life is good. Hakarat Hatov. Remember the good. When things are good, when things are bad. Hakarat Hatov. Remember the good. Recognize the good. So the Hebrew word picture, and then I'm out of here. The Hebrew word picture, when you put the letters together for praise, is the finished work pathway revealed. The finished work pathway revealed. So when you are, and your dot is to lift the hands, to extend the hands, and so the finished pathway revealed, the finished work of Christ. That pathway to that is revealed in praise. When we're praising God, we're giving thanks to God because of the finished work of Christ. That pathway to God is now revealed. So I hope that blesses you tonight or in the morning, whenever you're watching this video. I pray that you will Hakarat Hatov, remember the good. This is Rev C saying God bless you, and I will see you on the next video. Be blessed.